along its twists and turns for uncounted miles and minutes until the road became a little more than a trail. Small desert shrubs and grasses whipping the sides of his truck as he drove, carefully coaxing the reluctant truck up a small hill, steering through the obstacle course of large rocks and gaping crevices. He navigated a particularly primitive stretch. The reward at the top of the rise was a stunning view of unbroken mild Sonoran desert, its rocky ground green with spring and surmounted by impossibly blue sky that wouldn't know clouds until the monsoon season started in July. With the engine idling and both windows rolled down, he paused to take in the view, crunching on the apple. Dry desert grasses waved gently in the warm breeze, and a profusion of spring green leaves sprouted from the nearby Ocotillo, and noisy blue cactus caught his attention. He watched the surroundings, a huge small flame from right of the truck's hood. By the time the dancing motion of the fire registered in his peripheral vision, small flames had become large ones, hungry for more, and sending searing feelers up the windshield. He stared in disbelief for a second, and then panicked. Single motion grabbed his backpack, flung open the door, and fled. His discarded apple rolling down the dirt trail in his wake. Affected by the breeze and the open window, the engine fire swiftly and greedily spread to the cabin, gradually petering out the bodies after a brief but savage feeding frenzy. The smoke ceased leaching from the engine. Alex cautiously approached and surveyed the room. The truck was useless, smoking lumps of metal. The ignition melted and the engine fried. Burned scraps of his jacket littered the blackened passenger seat like confetti, and his phone, his lifeline, lay shattered and warped on the dashboard next to the now defunct GPS signal. He took stock of his situation. He had no transportation, no phone, and no real idea of where he was. Jen was in Ohio, living in Oakland for the first time since a couple moved to Tucson, and she wasn't expecting to hear from him until Monday afternoon. He wasn't due back into work until Tuesday morning, and in any case, he hadn't told any co-workers about his extrusion. The odds of encountering someone else traveling the rough, overgrown road anytime soon infinitesimally remote. Stay with your vehicle. He'd read that somewhere, and so he stayed for a while. The charred interior offered little shelter, no resources, and no hope of rescue. Mentally replaying the miles of dry, uninhabited nothingness covered to reach his current location, he realized retracing the path was an impossible task. Heading northeast across the desert as a crow flies, however, he'd eventually intersect with the highway. A long hike, but better than the alternatives. With a resigned sigh, he peered his dead lump of a phone off the dashboard with a stick, adding its still warm carcass to his backpack, on the off chance that it might magically return to life. Then he strode off a liter of water, and the expectation that he'd be home before evening. As he strode through the morning and early afternoon, he reflected that his faithful gym attendance and regular morning walk would be enough. He was in good enough shape to handle a long night. Even so, he found it uncomfortably warm. The temperature had risen to the mid-90s, causing his throat to tickle with breath, and the level of water in his bottle to diminish, as though it had become leaking. A bare rugged ravine and a thick patch of prickly pear cactus forced detours. And with the sun directly, it became more difficult to tell what direction he was headed. By late afternoon, he'd walked through miles of desert with no hint of human presence. The breeze blew effortlessly across the landscape, uninhibited by any man-made obstacles. When at last the sun dipped low on the horizon behind him, and there was no sign of the highway, he felt his heart pound and his chest heave, and he tried to squelch feelings of panic. The darkness finally fell, so did tears of frustration and disbelief, sticky all over with dried sweat, stabbed by hunger pains. His fair skin burned sunset red. He shouted futilely for help, but received not even an echo in return. The quarter moon rose, going about its business as it had for millennia. Alex soldiered on in the dim light for a time on that first night. His heart jumped into his dry throat when the dark shapes of roosting birds exploded out of the brush he floundered into, their shrill alarm calls ringing in his ears minutes afterwards. The light breeze rustled clumps of dried grass, making a whispering sound like a conversation just out of earshot, and his footsteps sounded freakishly loud on the hard, gravelly ground. He could swear that when he stopped, the sound continued for a split second, as if someone was following behind him in lockstep, mimicking his every move, stopping just after he stopped. Glancing nervously behind him, he stumbled on the uneven ground and sand-blazing the underside of his right forearm, defeated by the environment. He sought out a resting place, a rock outcropping near a large forsythia bush, and he settled there, his back against the rock wall. After a short day trip, we come to a night spent alone in the desert. He shook his head. Nearby, the skeleton of a long-dead Sagaro glowed yellow-white in the moonlight, casting a behind the landscape was amorphous and obscure in darkness. Its nocturnal moved unseen and mysteriously about their affairs, as they did every night. He soothed himself. He conjured up fond memories of family gatherings from the woods when he was a child, and thoughts of sleeping bags and s'mores settled his nerves for a short time. Then, veering off track like a derailing train, his mind abruptly fixated on the ghost stories he told around the campfire. Frowning and cursing at himself, he silenced the memories the best he could. He was jumpy enough without thinking about spirits and the boogeyman. Famished and exhausted, he ate half of his glue and then tried to sleep. The arid, hard desert ground cannot retain heat, and as soon as the sun set, releases its warmth into the night. Though it had been uncomfortably warm during the day, the temperature plummeted to the lower 50s. Wearing a t-shirt and jeans, and hugging his backpack for warmth, Alex shivered himself away each time he managed to drift off, and twitched nervously as if unfamiliar sound. Surfacing into consciousness for the umpteenth time, he gasped in momentary terror as a pale, ghostly face glided silently above the floor from a large way. His tired brain, unable to decipher the shape for a moment. Ow, he realized, finally. The slumping pig-like sounds that came later were impossible for him to place, and kept him still and frozen, pressed against the rapidly cooling rock wall for what seemed like hours before he, at last, drifted back into a futile, fearful sleep. He woke up on Saturday morning with the first light of dawn. His fleeting hope that the whole excursion had been just a bad dream dashed as soon as he opened his eyes, and his water supply rapidly diminishing. He devised a new strategy. He would travel during the cooler part of the day and rest in the afternoon.
3, 2, 1.
But surely he would find the highway before noon. Yesterday was the scourging, but the new morning gave him a burst of optimism. The day was a blur of walking and resting. The beauty of the landscape and the clear serene sky lost influence on him. Even he found him painfully thirsty and hungry after another hot day, and eventually forced to numbly accept that he would be spending a second night in the desert. The bottom of a small rocky hill near a shallow ravine became the resting place for Saturday night. A now empty bottle of water rattled hollowly against the melted foam as he dropped his backpack and settled in, his back to the building. Now, desperate for water, his thoughts were becoming disordered and unfocused, and his eyes and skin were sandpaper dry. He gingerly prodded the abrasion on his right arm. He had been screaming for attention all day, red, angry, and sudden as well. As darkness approached once more, he used a small pocket knife to catch his spines out of his jeans and hiking boots. His mind wandering in a near dreamlike state, his blurred sight turned creeping shadows into dreadful stalking beasts with shaggy manes and long legs walking behind, the stunted desert plants circling him on the fringes of his vision. The high-pitched yammering of a pack of coyotes reached him from a far distance. If they came close, would they pass up an easy target? As his eyes began to feel heavier, with the onset of sleep. A sudden, loud shriek pierced the air close by, spreading tingles of alarm throughout his body. Holding his breath, he sat completely in the dark, waiting. The same shriek sounded twice more, farther away. A night bird of some kind, he hoped. Jumping at every sound and shaking from the corridor again, Alex at last and dreamed an unknown dream. He was at work late, in the evening, long after everyone had left. Harsh with thirst, he left his office and walked into the break room for a minute. The building was still in silence, and all the objects but his dark as a tomb. Their identical doors shut, their contents cryptic.
Nice insurance.
There's a whole lot of button mashing. Please stop that.
He squinted to find his way. The hallway lighted only by a tiny, dim, far-flung nightlight with long sketches of pitch black in between. Twisting and turning, it went
Adam Oliver, really?
like miles with no end in sight.
All right.
He took to walking hastily through the dark stretches, more fearful than each moment that one of the doors would open of its own accord as he passed, revealing